Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, leading the elect of the nation of Israel to the kingdom of heaven through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect who firmly believe on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, the title of this lesson is going to be Affirmative Action, and I have a website here called Legal Dictionary and affirmative action. I'll just get right into it. It says affirmative action refers to a set of procedures implemented for the purpose of eliminating discrimination in educational and employment opportunities. Amounting to positive discrimination, the policy creates favor toward members of disadvantaged groups believed to have suffered discrimination in society. And who's the number one group of people or race that have been disadvantaged in this society? The Israelites, man. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. These are tactics used by the so-called white man, to showcase that he's not an enemy unto you, because we're in a time now to where information is being revealed and the secrets of this devil is being showcased, and it's evident that he's our enemy, man. It says all right, yeah, like it says disadvantaged groups believed to have suffered discrimination in society. And we've been facing discrimination, from not being able to use the same water fountain, not being able to sit on the front of the bus. There's a term, driving while black, DWB. How all of a sudden you drive past a cop and he'll just pull up right behind you and run your plates. That's happened to me numerous of times. So it's discrimination, man. Even on the workforce with a first fired, last hired. So it says affirmative action is the result of President John F. Kennedy's 1961 executive order requiring government employers and contractors to take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and that employees are treated during employment without regarding to their race, creed, color, or national origin. Since that time, any employer receiving federal funds has been required to document their affirmative action procedures and actual hiring numbers. To explore this concept, consider the following affirmative action definition, and that's true. Even the previous job I worked at, where I did security, for a hospital, they had code names for different nationalities. There's like I believe number ones was for Edomites, so-called white people. Number twos was so-called Negroes, and I believe number threes was like Latinos, so to speak. So they were classified by numbers. When I personally believe that they shipped me from one hospital to the next, because there wasn't enough number twos at that particular hospital. Number twos, when I say so-called Negroes, so that was a form of affirmative action. Our people get placed in certain job positions and certain educational positions based upon our race, and that's affirmative action. And let's get the definition of it. It says, a definition of affirmative action: the practice of improving employment and educational opportunities for members of minority groups, which are the Israelites. When in actuality, we are majority, because there's more of us than there is of these other nations, But even in the book of Baruch, it tells us how we'll be called the minority. It says, including those discriminated against because of their sex, race, color, or religion. Right? Moving down, it says, It says, while in theory the act of giving preference to a minority candidate should be acted upon only when such a candidate has the same or similar qualifications as other candidates, many people look upon affirmative action with contempt, feeling the practice creates a new minority group. In fact, few subjects regarding employment are as hotly debated as affirmative action, as sound arguments exist both for and against the practice. One dispute in affirmative action is what represents a history of discrimination. For example, both Asian and Jewish Americans have been subject to discrimination in the United States, but they are by and large excluded groups in the affirmative action scheme. Another hot, and that's why you see pretty much these individuals flourishing. You know, they created problem reaction solutions to help benefit them. Situations that actually never happened. You know, um, with them so-called Jews. When they claim that Hitler put hell upon them. And Anne Frank, and they were in the gas tombs and all of that madness. That situation never happened, man. All that shit is smoke and mirrors, man. But what is Esau playing the victim? That's Amalek playing the victim. You know. So when you see him flourishing and prospering, it's like, oh well, he had a hard life. Let him enjoy his moment. Fuck that. These situations never happened, man. What about slavery? You know, that old term, 40 acres and a mule. We still haven't received that. Because why? We are under curses, man. The Lord told us about these curses we would experience. The Lord said, cursed shalt thou be in the field. You know, that we curse coming in the world, we curse going out of the world. We cursed in the work field, you know. The Lord cursed our baskets, you know. His curses upon us, man. You got to beware of this devil when he uses affirmative action. You got to know when he's applying it on you, and just use it to your benefit, man. Use the world, just don't abuse the world. It says, one dispute in affirmative action is what represents a history of discrimination. For example, both Asian and Jewish Americans have been subject to discrimination in the United States, but they are by and large excluded groups in the affirmative action scheme. Another hot argument to the issue of determining which groups constitute minority groups is the geographical or regional population. For instance, in some states such as California, the Hispanic population has grown so large that most feel it could hardly be considered minority or underserved, and that favoring applicants from this group amounts to discriminating against the non-Hispanic population. Just bullshit, man. This is that was Gadite land anyway. There's a reason why they're the majority over there, because the northern tribes dwelt in that area before the conquistadors came over and ransacked shit, man. For the conquistadors, these Edomites came and took things over, you know, and primarily Issachar. Issachar is, they're heavy out there in California, and he's just living up to the prophecy of his name, Yashashkar, meaning he is higher. So what? Issachar, for the most part, is always going to have work. Affirmative action in the workplace. It says, while the federal government and employers funded by the federal government are required to observe affirmative action in the workplace, corporate affirmative action programs are strictly voluntary effort to improve diversity in the workplace. Corporate endeavors often take a different form, such as assertive outreach to identify minority groups, as well as mentoring and targeted recruitment. Companies utilizing these forward-thinking methods find that greater diversity leads to greater creativity and innovation, thus improving a company's bottom line. So it's all what for this devil's belly, man. Because he has it, well, let me put all of these different nationalities in a position, and what ideas come forth to help further my business, he becomes richer, man. That's why I was like, fuck that. I keep my ideas to myself on the job. Scrape up my little crumbs. If I get my little promotion, cool. If not, fuck it. I'm not going to be a house nigga and trying to further this devil's kingdom or further a devil's company, man. Because here it is, you could have a a $30 million idea. $30 million idea. A devil's going to take your idea, and if you come with more ideas, all they're going to do is give you what, a $2 raise, a $3 raise, while this devil just made 50 million more dollars. Fuck that. You know, like the scripture says, they made no account for our labors, man. That's in all facets. You know, it says it says, while it has been proven that affirmative action in the workplace profoundly influences job opportunities for minority groups, studies have shown that quite often current and prospective employees have a negative opinion of the practice. They may be due to the use of such negative terms as reverse discrimination, quotas, and preferences, which is true, you know, because a guy on the job was even telling me a job that he worked for, and I see it at the job that I'm at now. You know, a lot of the maintenance guys, the maintenance individuals make pretty decent money. But one thing about, you know, a lot of manufacturing jobs, they their thing is to keep the maintenance people white, because one particular individual, on the job, we was just talking, and he said one of his supervisors actually told him his boss said he has to keep the maintenance department white, meaning no other nationality can become a part of the maintenance. And I see that now with the current job that I'm doing, you know, and that's something that you call white privilege, you know, so-called white privilege. It says affirmative action in college admissions. It says the workplace is not only the breeding ground for affirmative action disputes, as colleges nationwide took up the policy of giving preference in admissions to members of certain minority groups. For years, colleges were seen as filling certain quotas of diverse nationalities and ethnic groups without regard such requisites as grades and test scores, leading to more cries of reverse discrimination against Caucasians. Today's global society is a certainly multicultural and ethnically diverse society, making diversity in education an advantage to all. In order to be successful after college, employers and employees alike need to be able to work effectively with others from a multiplicity of cultures. Man, one thing about these colleges, man, they're full of shit. You know, here it is. They got something called HBCUs, historically black college universities. First of all, the history behind these colleges, in which they set as the platform of the foundation, is not real so-called black history. For two, that was nothing but a form of affirmative action, making you niggas feel like you're accepted, man. And that's also a form of segregation, which I'm all supportive of. The Heavenly Father's with segregation, but that's nothing but a form of affirmative action. I believe Howard University is a HBCU. Hampton University is a HBCU. Spelman out there in Atlanta is a HBCU, and I forgot the one that's up the street from Spelman in Atlanta. That demon Martin Luther King went there, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can look it up. Just to name a few of HBCUs that these Edomites set up to please you niggas, man. To make you niggas feel like you're accepted or that you've come into your own. That's nothing but affirmative action. It says, in light of such significant controversy, 8 states have now banned the use of affirmative action in college admissions selections processes. California, Texas, and Florida have instituted in place of affirmative action plans that guarantee the top percentage of high school graduates admission to a state university. This helps ensure those who work hard for it a place at the table of higher education. In April 2014, the Supreme Court upheld the state's rights to ban affirmative action in college admissions, enabling them to stop giving preferential treatment in colleges based on race, ethnicity, national origin, or gender, paving the way for more states to change the way entrance to a higher education is achieved. The issue of reverse bias in affirmative action. In 2009, Princeton sociologist Thomas uh, Epishade research Alexandra Walton Radford examined admissions data on students applying to top rated medical orders in order to determine the issue of reverse bias and affirmative action. Researchers discovered that Asian American applicants needed to present a near perfect SAT score of 1550 out of 1600 to gain the same chance of acceptance as white applicants who scored only 1410, and African American applicants who scored only 1100. After accounting for such variables as a family background, athletic status, grades, and test scores, this study determined that white applicants were 3 times, Hispanic applicants 6 times, and black applicants more than 15 times as likely to be accepted into a U.S. university as Asian American applicants. You know, which I personally feel like is bullshit because it's Jake. You know, and that goes to show, that's the highest form of affirmative action. Here it is. They look at you niggas like you're dumb and you're stupid, and all you really need to get is an 1100 to get into their university, so you could be further brainwashed. And a lot of these standardized tests are biased. That's why I never even took them shits, man. I can't even really took them shits serious. You know, fuck college. Once I realized, man, college wasn't for me, I was up out of there. I was up out of there, man. You know, but there's various more that says affirmative action laws. Affirmative action example cases. Brothers, if curious to check out more forms of affirmative action, just legaldictionary.net, and affirmative action, and you'll find this information. But let's get to the scriptures. This is Job chapter 20 verse 10. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. And that's what these Edomites do under the subgroup affirmative action. Here it is. It is a reverse bias. It's a reverse discrimination. Here it is. He look at you like you've been catching so much hell all your life, and he want to He want to spoon feed you. He want to seek to please you by way of giving you a job, getting you accepted into his universities, giving you a promotion on a job, allowing you the right to vote, shit like that. So what? That's the case and example of these Edomites seeking to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. But ultimately, when you check it out, this devil ain't restoring our goods. Because first and foremost, this was the land of the northern tribes. Do you see him attempting to restore that? What about the gold and the silver that occupied this land? This Edomite raped, robbed, and murdered for it. Do you see him attempting to restore that? No, because the true wealth is what? Gold, silver, and land. He'll rather give you things like contracts, which is a form of control. He'd rather give you things like SSI, which is a form of control. He'd rather give you things like sports, drugs, and entertainment, which is a form of mind control. He'd rather give you things like child support, which is a form of control. So anything that education, which is a form of control and mind manipulation and mind control. So here it is. The things that he attempts to give you is only for his benefit and more destructive of you. Taking away your faith from Yahweh by Shem Shah. That's why it's best to beware of this devil. It says, his bones are full of the sins of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Through wickedness, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth. That's right. Because though he be saying things peaceable unto you, he may stroke your ego. At the end of the day, it's all wickedness. It's really wickedness. Because it's a form of him humbling himself to break you down for you to accept him. It says, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. That's right. Affirmative action. The average J can't see past that. Esau got a lot of our people thinking that he's their friend, man. It says, yet his meat and his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. That's right. He stole our riches, you know. But what? He's going to vomit them up. We're in a time where this devil's going to vomit them up, man. And the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, shall cast them out of his belly. That's right. That's why the Lord is going to rain upon you, Edomites, while you're eating. It says, he shall suck the poison asps, the viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, and the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore. That's right. So ultimately, fuck your affirmative action. Fuck the 40 acres and the mule. We taking the world back, man. We taking the earth back. It says, for that which he labored for, he shall restore, and shall not swallow it down according to his substance. Shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. That's right. So what? You're not going to rejoice in your new world order. You know, you're not going to rejoice in having mass chipping. You're not going to be able to rejoice in it, because when you make your move, that's when Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to make his move. You know, it says, so I'm going to read that again. It says, according to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. You know, real quick, let's get into that word restitution. Real quick. Restitution. Quick Google. The restoration of something lost or stolen to its proper owner. You know? So first and foremost, the earth is going to come back to its proper owner, which is Yahweh Shai. You know? And we'll be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, so it's rightfully going to get returned back to us as well. You know? So according to your substance, what you own is the earth. You know, that's going to be the restitution. You know, given back into us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It says, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, which means a position of difficulty. And every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. The wicked is talking about the laborers, which are the Israelites. Verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating. You know? So the Heavenly Father is into getting you in your comfortability, you know, where you think you're stable. You know, that's when Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to make his move upon you. So what? According to your substance is where the restitution is going to be, man. The Lord's about to give the world back into his rightful owner. So you can keep your education. You know, the Lord allow us to receive these certain jobs just to maintain in this society. But once that chip gets mandated, it's fuck you. And that's when we're solely going to have to rely upon faith, man. You know? Proverbs chapter 12 verse 10. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. That's right. The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel, man. You know, here it is. Him mandating that microchip, he's going to look at it. He's going to present it as if it's a delicacy or a conveniency. However, it's cruel. You know, it's cruel. Education. You know, here it is. You get all of these certificates. You get all of these diplomas. You know, here it is. That's Esau showing his tender mercy. You know, but here it is for the past 4 years to 6 years or even 10 years, depending on which degree you got. You know, you've been mind fucked, man. You've been brainwashed according to Esau standards, according to the so-called white man standards. You know, or even if you get a promotion on the job. You know, now you got to dedicate your mind, body, and spirit to that job to keep that company flourishing. And all of that energy is taken away from what you need to be doing for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, what you need to be doing for the spirit, you know, because we're supposed to be storing our treasures in heaven where moth and rust doth not corrupt. However, if you focused on education, you focused on your job, you know, you focused on entertainment, it's taken away from that. It's nothing but distractions. You know, it's nothing but distractions. You know, so what? The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. You know, and the true men of understanding understands that. You know, the men of the Lord, the elect. Last and final scripture. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." You know, because throughout the duration of time, iron rusting away, it gets worse, it gets worse, it gets worse, it gets worse. You know, and the more water that gets put upon that rust causes that rust to show forth. And what's the water that's being pushed out now? This truth. You know, so the more this truth gets pushed out, the more of this wickedness is being showed upon this devil, upon this Edomite. And he don't like it. And we don't care. We don't care. Hey, look, man, we're ordered by the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, the Lord commanded us, you know, to hit those highways and byways, to do shows, to do lessons, you know, feed the flock. And in the midst of us feeding the flock, we're exposing this devil. You know, it says verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Affirmative action is a form of him humbling himself and crouching down. You know, here it is, you being accepted to college. That's a showcase in this devil of you humbling himself. And why did it showcase the Negroes having to get just an 1100 in order to get accepted into college? Because he really wants you niggas. He really wants you niggas, man. He really wants Israel. He wants to manipulate and mind control Israel, man. So that's a case of him even humbling himself. You know, here it is. His company. You know, he got different districts and where his company resides at. You know, so he'll move you from one company to another company because there's not enough Negroes or Hispanics there or Native American Indians. You know, so he'll move you to where there's more Edomites. You know, taking you out your element, so to speak. You know, just to fulfill his form of affirmative action. It says, "And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away." You know, and we see right through these Edomites, man. We see right through them because what? We have the truth. It says, "Set him not by thee, lest he have overthrown thee. He stand up in thy place, neither let him stand at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, playing the victim, and which he loves to do, which he's been doing from the beginning, though he sought it with tears when he sold his blessing. He sold his birthright. You know, he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And what happened when Esau saw Jacob? That opportunity came. He wanted to slay him. He wanted to kill him, man. But then Jacob supplanted him again, kissed him on the cheek. You know? So that's why it's best not to get close to these devils, man. You know, use them for whatever information you can get out of them, and then get up out of there. You know, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. That's right, and that's one thing. Here it is. You lose something, the person that's really trying to help you find it is the motherfucker who stole it. You know, that's these Edomites' nature, man. You know, and Jake has taken after these Edomites. Ye of your father's the devil. So it says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. And that's how you read these niggas, man. You know. So Lord willing, you know, this lesson was edifying unto the elect, affirmative action. You know, this is just another case and example of these Edomites seeking to please the poor, which are the Israelites. You know, here it is. We got to dwell in this world, so use the world, just don't abuse the world. Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You know, get as much information as you can based upon his Edomite and how he controls his society. Take it for yourself and use it for your benefit. However, don't lash out with emotions. So Lord willing, Akim was edified. I would like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, leading the elect of the nation of Israel to the kingdom of heaven through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect. Shalom.